Welcome to this tutorial on CloudFormation Outputs and exporting values. In this video, you'll learn how to share resources and configurations between different CloudFormation stacks using exports and imports. This is a fundamental concept in AWS DevOps that helps you build modular and reusable infrastructure. Cross-stack references allow you to create dependencies between stacks, making your infrastructure more organized and maintainable. Let's dive in and understand how exporting values works in CloudFormation. Let's start by understanding what outputs are in CloudFormation. Outputs are optional values that CloudFormation returns after your stack deployment completes successfully. Their main purpose is to display important resource information such as resource identifiers, Amazon resource names, URLs, or endpoints to users. For example, you might want to output an S3 bucket name or an EC2 instance ID so you can easily find and reference these resources later. The key point here is that outputs can be exported, which makes these values available for other stacks to import and reference. This is what enables cross-stack communication and resource sharing. Now let's look at the basic syntax structure for defining outputs in a CloudFormation template. The Outputs section begins with the keyword outputs at the root level of your template. Each output needs a logical identifier, which is a unique name within your template. Under each logical identifier, you define three main properties. First is the description, which provides information about what the value represents. Second is the value property, which is required and specifies the actual value you want to output. This often uses the ref function to reference a resource. Finally, there's the export property, which contains a name field. This export name is what other stacks will use to import this value. The export field is the critical component that enables cross-stack references. When you specify an export name, you're creating a unique identifier for the exported value that must be unique across your entire Oz region. This name acts as a reference point that other stacks can use to import the value. There are three important constraints to remember. First, export names must be regionally unique, meaning no two exports in the same region can have the same name. Second, other stacks reference this name to import the value, creating a dependency relationship. Third, and this is crucial, you cannot modify or delete an export while other stacks are still importing it. This protection mechanism prevents breaking dependencies between stacks. To use an exported value in another stack, you use the ImportValue intrinsic function. The syntax is straightforward. In your Resources section, wherever you need to reference a value from another stack, you use the ImportValue function followed by the export name. For example, if a network stack exported a subnet identifier with the name networkstack-subnet ID, you can import it by writing !ImportValue followed by the export name in quotes. This creates a direct reference to the exported value. The importing stack will now depend on the exporting stack, and CloudFormation will ensure the exporting stack cannot be deleted or modified until you remove this import reference. Let's understand the complete workflow of cross-stack references through three stages. In Stage 1, Stack A creates a resource and exports its value with a unique export name. This makes the value available for other stacks to consume. In Stage 2, Stack B imports that exported value using the ImportValue function. Stack B can now use this value as if it were a local resource. In Stage 3, a dependency relationship is automatically created between the two stacks. This means Stack A cannot be deleted or have its export modified, while Stack B is actively importing the value. This dependency management ensures your infrastructure remains consistent and prevents accidental breaking of connections between stacks. Let's see a practical example of how this works. On the left, we have a network stack that creates a VPC resource. In its Outputs section, it defines an output with the logical identifier VPC-id. The value references the VPC resource using the ref function, and it exports this value with the name myVPC-id. On the right, we have an application stack that needs to use this VPC. It creates an EC2 instance, and in the Properties section, it sets the VPC ID property by importing the value. It uses the ImportValue function with the export name myVPC-ID. Now the application stack can launch its EC2 instance in the VPC created by the network stack without needing to know the actual VPC identifier. Finally, let's discuss how to view and manage your exports. There are two main ways to view exports. Through the AWS console, navigate to the CloudFormation service and go to the Outputs tab of your stack to see all exported values. Alternatively, using the AWS command line interface, you can run the command aus CloudFormation list -exports to see all exports in your region. When managing exports, remember these key constraints. Export names must be regionally unique across all your stacks. You cannot delete an exporting stack while other stacks are importing its values. You also cannot modify an export name without first deleting the export completely. To see which stacks are using your export, use the list -imports command to check dependencies before making any changes. This helps you understand the impact before modifying or deleting exports.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.